83% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual kids are harassed at school, which can lead to suicide. Rhonda says, be open, be willing to listen, be patient, and be understanding. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Rhonda Hughes today about discovering her son is gay. So this is about 11 years ago when actually he came out, blurted out that he was gay. How do you think he felt at that time of letting you know, when he did let you know?
He said he felt relieved, that it made him feel more comfortable. Although he was scared of my reaction, he felt more comfortable about just being himself.
Like a big weight's been lifted off his shoulder.
Exactly, like now I don't have to pretend, or I don't have to try to be something I'm not. We also discussed how long he might have known that. And he said he always knew.
What is that? I have a gay friend, and he's like, I've always known. And I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, you can't know it when you come out of the womb or anything.
I know.
So he said at a very young age, you know, he loved He-Man, and because he had so many muscles, and you know, I thought he liked He-Man because boys like He-Man.
I know.
And He-Man was hot, I guess, you know, to him. But he just loved. He loved the fact that I knew, and was comfortable with the fact that I was not angry at him. And I wasn't going to change the way I loved him or treated him.
Was there ever a moment, though, that maybe you had hopes and dreams of him getting married and, you know, the traditional route of what mothers and fathers think of automatically for their kids, you know, that, you know, they're going to get married to opposite sex, have kids with opposite sex? Was there ever a time that you were like, okay, well, those kind of dreams are now gone? And now I need to create new dreams for him?
You know, Jessica, I don't think I really ever can honestly say that I thought that. I think as a mother, I want those things. I want grandchildren, but actually, he could have grandchildren.
He could.
Now, things have changed, and they could have surrogate kind of, and I could have grandchildren. And I have really read a lot about this and studied on it, and I know a lot of gay people now through him that their parents have totally just thrown him away and, you know, tossed the kids aside, and that's just nowhere. And especially in Hispanic families, that's just not something that you have in your family, or that's.
So why is it that you think you were more acceptable?
I don't think I'm not because I'm any special or incredible person, just because knowing him and having him for those years, I wouldn't have missed a second of anything about him, because to me he was the same person, same child, just now I know something unique and different about him. Like if someone had some kind of a special, you know, illness or something, and not to say that it's like being ill, but I mean, I would accept anything that maybe happen or may not be perfect, and with my children. It's just,
so why do you say it's not acceptable in the Hispanic community?
I don't know. It's not. Any person that I've ever met that is Hispanic, it's just something that's not even discussed or talked about.
It's taboo.
Pretty much.
Are they living from past decades, or is it because of their culture?
I think the culture, and I think the whole Hispanic macho type of, that just doesn't happen. Not going to, and I think that's sad, because this is not something that comes with nationality or you know, and I truly believe that it's not something that you choose. I think it's something that the way you're born.
So you said you've read up about a lot of it. What have you read?
Well, I've read everything I could get my hands on.
Why did you read it? Just to better inform yourself?
To be able to discuss it intelligently when people, because I knew I was gonna be faced with all kinds of people saying things about him, which they did, and I've been to a lot of clubs with him where people cry and say, oh my gosh, you know, Ryan is so lucky because my mother and father don't even speak to me. And I wasn't going to, you know, even think of that. I can't even imagine missing one day of anything that he did. And it's not to say that I agree with every single thing he does,
Right.
because I think there's some things that, are a little chancy or a little...
But that's going with being a parent. I mean, no parent agrees with everything their child
No,
does.
you don't, but I think because these things are not acceptable everywhere, you can't just go out there and just do anything you want to do in any place, because there's always going to be people that don't accept that. So
Well,
I
it could be
think,
a little dangerous.
yeah, I think you
more
have
so.
to be careful, and you have to be, I think as a parent of a gay child, you always worry about the things you hear that can happen, and I think that they have to make good choices.
Do you think it's becoming more acceptable? Do you think there's still a high percentage rate that those dangerous things are going to happen just because he's gay?
I think so. I do. I think there's people that don't understand it, and you're afraid of what you don't understand. And
Right.
I think there's a lot of people assuming that if you're around somebody that's gay, or your kids are around somebody that's gay, that they're going to turn your kids gay. And, I'm here to tell every parent of a gay child, don't miss a moment of anything that your child does, because there are people, they're still your children, they're still someone you love, and they're unique and different. And I think all you can do is just, help them like you would do any other person in your life or child, make good choices. And
Well, what about someone who's just finding out, or maybe has suspicions, signs? What are some of the signs that you saw that maybe he was gay?
I think definitely, I don't think being effeminate has anything to do with being gay at all. I think a lot of people go, oh, look at the way they talk or listen to their voice, and I don't think you should jump to those kind of conclusions, because I know a lot of people that just are very effeminate, metrosexual,
Right.
they're not gay at all. So I think you shouldn't just, be overly concerned about it or worry unnecessarily. And I think if you do see signs of it, you should be open communication and talk to them if they're of the age where you can talk to them about something like that. But I think people rush to the doctor and
Right.
try to force other issues to change it, and I don't think people think religion will change it.
Right.
I just don't think that's something that you would do.
So open communication, how would a parent approach the issue if they kind of have suspicions?
I think actually sit down and talk to them openly and ask them.
Say what? I mean, there's going to be people out there watching saying, you know what, I can't just go up to my kid and say, are you gay? I mean, how do you kind of, start out slow and, kind of actually start to approach the issue? Because I don't think people really want to just jump in, because then, especially if the child's not ready to talk about it, they're going to back off and kind of maybe give the same response that Ryan did and be like, no, not, even if it's true. So how can they kind of, instead of jumping into it, kind of walk into it?
I think watch for different things, see who their playmates are, or who their friends are, who they seem to be hanging out with, and then say, you seem to be, a lot with Billy or Danny,
Right.
or whoever, what about some girlfriends? Do you have any girlfriends or any girls you like or anything like that? And if it seems like there's something that they don't want to talk about, just make sure that they know that you're there to talk about it when the time comes, and don't make remarks like, a faggot, and so they're afraid to ever say anything to you about it. I think you can just be the kind of parent that they know that they could come to for anything,
So was yours and your son's relationship always a strong relationship?
Yeah.
So what happens if the parent
Doesn't
and the
have-
child doesn't have a strong relationship? Because it seems like from what you're saying that you and Ryan, your relationship was always pretty much open. I mean, especially because you were a single mom, he was your only child at the time. You guys have, not all single moms and children, but you tend to have a special bond, especially being he was an only child at the time. So what about parents who are not as close with their children? They're going to be a little more timid.